That was really good insight, Mom. Thank you. Here's my insight for chapter 4. It's talking along the lines of what Jamin and Anara and Maroon were talking about last night about killing Laban. And it's talking about it is better that one man should perish. And it says discipleship means a willing and consistent alignment with God's decrees. And then it goes, what does one do when commanded by God to pursue a course contrary to one's deepest values? And then it goes on to talk about how Nephi was all like, I never have killed a man before. And it says, as Nephi faced the challenge of taking a human life by divine commandment, he must have come to an understanding of what the prophet Isaiah meant when he said, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are my ways your ways, saith the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways. And then it goes down to logically break down the commandment by the Lord. But what stuck out to me is that when we understand and appreciate a doctrine, principle, or commandment through the Spirit, it is easier to accept and live it. And I think that's very, poignant to our lives when President Nelson tells us to do something and we're like, really? Reread the Book of Mormon before the end of the year, but I'm almost done. But it says when we understand and appreciate a doctrine, principle, or commandment through the Spirit, it is easier to accept and live it. I think that's very true for most of our lives. When we understand and appreciate the doctrine of tithing, it's easier to live it. It's easier to be like, oh yeah, tithing first, or going to the temple. It's easier to, when we understand and appreciate the temple, it's easier to get there every month or whatnot. Anyways, learned a little something in my course. But I'll also share one more thing, because in the book it talks about evidences as to why the Book of Mormon is true. And it's talking about, again, it's better for one man to die than for a whole nation to dwindle in unbelief. He talks about how in the Bible, in the Old Testament, there have been justified sacrifices of one individual for the purpose of preserving an entire group. And it gives examples. And it says that Lehi was likely aware of this precedent of one for many, but Joseph Smith could not have been, since this rather obscure aspect of Jewish law was, as legal scholar John W. Welsh has pointed out, not well known until quite recently. So little things like that are what the evidences are. And I find them interesting that they're like, here is how it's precedented in history and in the Bible. And though we know it now, there's no way Joseph Smith could have known that. Just saying that, yeah, Joseph Smith did not invent the Book of Mormon. Anyways, that's my insight on chapter 4. I look lovely this early in the morning.